Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins on October 3, 2004. Two militants in Iraq are carrying a wounded staff sergeant toward a foxhole. A soldier named Billy Lynn steps in and fires shots at the insurgents, causing them to flee in the direction of the sergeant while he defends himself from other shooters. The footage of Billy's brave deed is distributed to the media, and as a result, he is hailed as a national hero. The story now moves forward to Thanksgiving Day of 2004. Waking up, Billy heads over to his Bravo team to meet up with the other members: Sergeant David Dime, Mango, Foo, Crack, Lotus, Holiday, and Skies. Together with the show's producer, Albert Brown, the cast and crew set out on a promotional tour at Thanksgiving game halftime show. Chauffeur Josh, representing the Dallas Cowboys, meets the squad at the airport. In the film, Billy can be seen frantically attempting to save his fallen teammate and Sergeant Virgil Shroom Bream. 2 days before, the unit had held a burial for Bream. Following the burial, Billy returns to his mother and his two sisters, Catherine and Patty, at their childhood home. According to Billy's mother, her family and all of Billy's neighbors are quite proud of him. Then Billy turns to his father to talk to him, but his father does not even want to look at him, and it is not clear why. Back to the present, in the limo, Albert tells the team that he is negotiating a deal to make a movie based on their heroic deeds, joking that Hilary Swank wants to play Billy. He also says that each of them will get a handsome sum of money as compensation, which Billy says he will use to pay for his sister's studies. Billy remembers his sister asking him to leave the army and go home, but he wouldn't. Once they arrive at the event, the team starts walking through the crowd, and Billy has a flashback to when he was in Iraq. The team takes their seats and prepares to watch the football game. Billy talks to his sister, Catherine, who starts talking about her boyfriend, and the scene shifts back to Iraq. During tour training, Dime and Shroom learn that Billy had a criminal record before coming to Iraq. Billy explains that Catherine was in a car accident that left her with several stitches on her face and lower body. Her boyfriend abandoned her in the hospital, prompting Billy to destroy the man's car and chase him with a wrench. The next day, Billy was enlisted to drop the charges. Arriving at the stadium for the show, a number of excited and anxious fans talk to them to express gratitude for their work or to share hateful comments about those the team is fighting. The Bravo team travels to the stadium, picks up balls, and starts playing like teenagers. Billy meets a successful businessman, Norm Oglesby, who compliments him on his deeds during the mission in Iraq. Later, the soldiers sit down for a press conference, where Billy notices one of the cheerleaders, Faison, smiling at him. The soldiers answer a series of questions, and Billy recounts how he tried to save his weapon partner, Shroom. Following the presentation, Faison walks up to Billy and immediately begins a conversation with him. He explains to her that it is unusual to be awarded on the day that he considers to be the worst day of his life. After that, they begin discussing matters of faith, and Billy reveals when he made that valiant move for Shroom, he sensed something divine within him. Faison starts moving toward him, and the two kiss each other, showing admiration for one another. After some time, the soldiers make their way to meet the football squad. A handful of the gamers inquire to Billy about the types of weapons they use, and how it makes them feel to take someone's life. Billy maintains that he is emotionless, and that this is simply his job. A further recollection of the group's time in Iraq is shown before lunch. The Bravos were tasked with carrying out a mission that required them to conduct a search and elimination operation within a facility. In front of the men's wives and children, the troops opened fire and killed both of the men. And Billy will never forget the expression of the child who was glaring at him with such venom. Another scene from the past, Billy was sitting down to dinner with the rest of his family, shortly after his return home. The television was broadcasting news about war-related themes. According to Catherine, the war in Iraq was nothing more than a pretext for the United States to seize control of the area to access oil. Billy believed they did it in order to bring democracy to Iraq, and to develop schools and hospitals there. Billy is ignorant, and the family began to argue, and Mrs. Lynn slammed the table, scaring him a little. Back to having lunch, the soldiers meet an entrepreneur who runs an oil company, Wayne Pfister. Wayne starts asking two direct questions about the war, and the lieutenant diplomatically rebuffs him. After lunch, Billy and Mango seclude themselves with a stadium employee, who shares a joint with them. The three talk about the fact that they have nothing to look forward to when it is all over. Catherine discovers that Billy will return to Iraq shortly after the promotional tour ends. She tries to convince him to stay, but he won't change his mind, and promises to return. During the game, Billy receives a phone call from a doctor Catherine has been talking to try to get him honorably discharged, so he does not have to go back to Iraq and suffer more. Next, Billy talks to his lieutenant, who asks him how he is here. He says that he is yet to abjure, and the lieutenant responds he has a talent for this kind of work, giving him courage. During the match, he tells the lieutenant about Faison, and the fact that he can no longer be with her. The lieutenant tells him to forget about her, because they are going back to Iraq soon, and he will never see her again. Billy sends a message to his sister, telling her he will think about the doctor. Soon, the stage manager arrives and tells the team to put on their camouflage outfits for the halftime show. The soldiers are wearing camouflage outfits, and are behind Destiny's Child. The lights, explosive sounds, and general frenetic atmosphere cause discomfort for some of the boys, particularly Crack, who pushes one of the producers, and has to be calmed down by the other boys. Soon, the stage manager tells the soldiers what they are to do on stage, as if they are puppets. Destiny's Child performs their songs, and Billy walks to the center during the song Soldier. Moving back to Iraq, where the boys find themselves in the midst of a violent shootout. Shroom took the initiative, and drew the terrorists' attention, so the soldiers could take them out while they were distracted. Here, Billy notices that Shroom has been wounded, and is about to be taken hostage by the enemies. He took action to rescue Shroom, and fell with him into a trench. Soon, an enemy soldier arrived and shot Billy in his protective vest. Billy pounced on him and killed him with his knife. He approached Shroom, but he was already dead. After the show, the boys argue with one of the producers, who acts like a jerk to them for still being on stage, before the game starts again. The cheerleaders arrive, telling them they can't behave this way toward their country's heroes. Afterwards, they set off to continue watching the game. Faison approaches Billy, and says that since she met them, the way she looks at the world has changed. She used to resent every little thing, but now she realizes how insignificant they are compared to what they went through. Billy and Faison trade numbers, and go about their business. A little later, Catherine calls Billy, and says she is coming to the stadium to pick him up. Billy is planning to stay home, and not return to Iraq with the team. During the game, a boy who is watching makes a comment to the soldiers, about their views on gays in the military. Crack responds by putting the boy in a sleeper hold, until he passes out. Billy talks to the lieutenant, and asks if he would go back to Iraq if he had a choice. But the lieutenant refuses to answer, because he has no choice. Soon after, Billy and Dime meet with Albert, who has spoken with Norm Oglesby, the owner of the Cowboys investing in the film project about the team. However, instead of the previous offer of $100,000 to each team member for the film, Oglesby reduced it to $5,500 each, infuriating the team. Dime talks to Oglesby about the offer, saying that he is just taking him and his boys for a ride. Oglesby says this is his final offer, and at the end of the day, they don't have much choice. Dime realizes everyone around is just pretending to support the army, but when money has to be mentioned, everyone changes faces. In the end, Dime furiously rejects the offer, and leaves. Billy is about to leave with Dime, but Oglesby stops him. When Oglesby talks to him privately, he tells that this story is no longer his, but America's. However, Billy says what happened in Iraq is their life, not just a story he can buy. So Billy also rejects Oglesby's offer, and joins Dime in refusing to do business with him. Albert then approaches Billy, and compliments how he handled Oglesby. Shortly, Faison texts Billy, asking him to meet her. As they leave the stadium, the team is about to beat up the security guards they had a fight with earlier. Soon, Faison arrives and kisses Billy, telling him that she wants to be together with him. Billy says he wishes he could escape with her, even if he has to go back to Iraq. They share a kiss before parting, and she says she'll pray for him. After Billy joins the team, security guards attack them from behind. This causes Billy to experience a wave of PTSD images. The stage manager and his henchmen are arrested. Not long after, Catherine arrives to pick up Billy, but with a simple expression, he makes it clear that he cannot go home with her. She is upset, but he goes to talk to her. He says he has to go back, and feels that his life is in that place, because he wants others to be proud of him. He returns to the limo, which he hallucinates as a Humvee. He gets in, and imagines a philosophical conversation with Shroom again. He tells Shroom "I love you," then returns to the reality of the Bravo squad members in the limo, each responding with "I love you." The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.